Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Two Tamers Talk. What's up, Jeff?
Hey.
This is episode 25.
Wow. Okay,
It's our,
that's a good number.
25th anniversary.
25th
week
anniversary. I love it.
And I guess what better way than that to just announce we did it. We hit 1K.
We hit 1,000 subscribers thanks to all of our killer fans. Yeah. Everybody who subscribed and everybody who participated in like little giveaway events that like got more subscribers. We cannot thank you guys enough.
We had a super fun time getting there, and we're only going to try and grow. So I guess 2K is our next big goal, right?
Yeah, now 2K is the next goal.
All right. We'll get there with your guys' help. We had some more goals, and we did. We made it to Mox Valley Games for their big Win a White Omni tournament. We had a fantastic time. Taylor and everybody there were fantastic hosts, very gracious, very welcoming.
Great shop.
Yeah,
great
awesome
crowd,
shop.
good local scene there. I mean, it was an awesome place. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, so if you guys are in the Springfield, Eugene area, make sure you check out Mox Valley Games. They're fantastic. They got singles. They got all kinds of cool stuff. They do great tournaments. And, man, what a matchup it was.
It was a crazy tournament.
We can just talk about the tournament right now because...
Let's do it.
Yeah, so I think, 9 of the 32 decks were Black War Gray.
We had 32 players turn out. Unfortunately, you and I did not win.
We did split.
And I think we brought like 10 people. 12 people that we specifically knew and play at our locals with us, and one was really close, was in the finals fighting it out, but unfortunately fell just a hair short.
Yeah, I think I have the breakdown here.
No, it was a really interesting breakdown. So for everyone wondering what I ended up playing, I played King Sukamon.
Yeah.
I had to do it. I had to do it. I was
After
just so
all
excited.
that back and forth,
After all this back and forth, and last week I decided I was going to play something completely different, and I changed my mind at the last moment, but that's just what I do.
Yep.
What did you play?
Against my better judgment. No.
I don't think so.
I played Machine.
I think you made the right choice.
I played Machine. I had fun with it. There is a deck profile video that just came out yesterday that you guys should check out. It was close to that. I made some tweaks to it and gave you guys the primo updated version with the stuff that was successful, and I took out the stuff that wasn't successful. So new updated version of that deck coming your way. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun. A lot of new pieces. We'll talk about it when we get to the cards of the week for sure. But I had a blast, man. Machine Dramon is such a fun list. It's a fun deck. A lot of weird. I mean, I guess not weird, but there was another Machine Dramon player there. I did not interact with him or her.
Oh, really?
According to the list, yeah. But I didn't see any Ulforce players.
No, Ulforce, I figured that's one of those things that I mean, this is a White Omni event, right?
Yeah.
People are here to win. So, I mean, you saw the breakdown. Tons and tons of Black or Gray players.
Yeah.
That or people are Nats prepping.
Yeah,
right?
that's
so
true.
People are bringing their A game for Nats, Black or Gray, or like a counter.
Yeah.
Black or Gray.
Well, let's check out this Black or Gray list.
We have it right. List that
this is the winners list,
at Mox, so this is the list that he won a Ghost Omni. I mean, it's a Black or Gray list, yes, but I do really like the refining.
Yeah.
Right, because I think Black or Gray is an easy deck to make. This is not a knock on anyone playing the deck, you know what I'm saying? But it's one of those, you really have to understand why you put the pieces that you put into the deck to make it work, right? So, the first thing I look at is the force, because that seems to be the conversation I have a lot with Black or Gray players about what specific level force do you put in the deck. I don't think anyone doubts that you put in 4 of the new X antibody Greymon, but then it's more of a matter of how many security tech +1, how much blocker, do you want additional DP buffs, right? So I really like this split of how they ended up breaking this down.
Yeah, and I think a big thing too is just I think the biggest divide that I've seen amongst or at least the chit chat is how many Gaumons do you put in?
Yeah. There's some lists that play 0, some lists that play all Gao.
Yeah, and no Black War Grays.
Yeah,
only the X Anibs, yeah.
I think I personally like the Gaos more. I like the aggressiveness. I like the power, and I kind of like that, when you do like a level 6 kind of split, and you just have this good aggressive top end, and then you can kind of work on your stack, whether it's for Black or Gray X or whatever. But it's also playstyle preference, right?
Well, I think the big justification for it too is that Metal Gray X antibody, because the Gaomon has reboot, regular Black or Gray does not. So you're able to reboot and trash security.
Having that reboot means your opponent can't really stop you on your turn from triggering all those effects that will be triggered. So.
Yeah, that's what got me at Mox, was that D-Digivolve was rough.
Gao was a really good
I didn't
card.
expect to see as much Gao as we did, but
I've liked Gaomon for a long time, and I kind of always thought that they were kind of like separate decks with the Black or Gray and the Gao style. They do kind of I don't want to say clash because they do go well together, but they
Yeah.
definitely play different.
I love that red memory boost too. I think that that's a really good one of tech. We were talking about it earlier, and I think that it's just, I don't know. It's just like it's such a good like that deck already does so much with so little memory that having that one extra little boost or that one ability to like grab one of the pieces, like it's not something that you need to do, but I think that it's a good like. Or if you hit it, they hit it in security. Like it's really good. I think it's just lethal to have it on your next turn and be able to do like another big thing.
Yeah.
So, congrats to this player. I didn't know if they wanted the names public, so I did haze out the names. But yeah, that's who won. So going into Nats now, how do you think? I mean, just based on we just did a quote unquote big tournament, right? It was 32, 33 people. Do you think Nats is going to be completely overrun by this?
I do think Nats is going to be completely overrun by Black War. I'm torn, right? Because I always like to root for that underdog. I always like to root for the counter to the Black or Gray player, but it kind of all depends on matchup, right? Like if you played King Suka like I did, expecting to play every round against Black or Gray, but then completely dodged Black or Gray somehow.
Yeah, there was a lot of Masty.
Yeah, I mean, I played against Masty, and that was one of the wins I had for sure, was against a Masty player. And, so it's tough to say whether it's going to be a Black or Gray that kind of wins. That's like my gut feeling.
Yeah.
But then there could be also that one deck that's just like counters it really well. So I don't know. Tough call. I think Grandis is really terrifying. I think Grandis has a chance to win Nats. I think it's going to be between Grandis and Black or Gray.
I think it's going to be like an 80-20 split. I think the top 8 are probably going to be like, in the top 10, there's probably going to be like 2 Grandis and then 8 Black.
Yeah, it's going to be like winner is not Black or Gray. Then the next 4 places are Black or Gray, and then like some random things too. So it's going to be interesting to see for sure, to see the breakdown. And we'll bring it to you guys.
Oh, for sure.
We'll get the breakdown.
No, what we're going to do is we're going to record this on a Wednesday, and then they're going to release the results on a Thursday.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
They're going to be a week behind, but it's fine. But if we're talking about last week, we had a good challenge for you guys and a good giveaway, and we had some great feedback from you guys. So if you didn't tune in last week, we asked the viewers to send us, we're trying to do like an interactive Q&A. Like send us something you want us to answer.
I love that we're doing this now.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep doing that. So if you guys want to keep having a Q&A, we'll do it. But that last week was for the prizes.
Yeah. So we picked our top 3. We got over a dozen submissions. So we got a bunch of good questions. So if your question didn't make it on here, send it again. We'll try and get to them all. Try to do this every week. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Good interaction. So the first question that we chose out of the pool was from one of our awesome viewers, and his or her question, I can't remember, was, I'm not sure if you guys have played any other card games, but if you have, which we both have, spoilers, what game mechanics for them would you really like to see implemented in Digimon or vice versa? So I'll let you go first on this one.
That's a tough one. Okay, guys. So
because this guy plays all kinds of stuff. Plays One Piece.
Yeah. I like playing One Piece. I've dabbled in Dragon Ball Super. I've played a lot of Magic. I've played Pokemon. I mean, so for me, we were having this. So side story, and then I'll come right back to it. Right, we were attempting to go to YouTube Live. And we were very excited to do like a little like Q&A kind of like interactive while we're driving down to this tournament. But we didn't realize on YouTube Live, for your first live stream, you have to have a 24-hour notice. So that's our bad. But one of the things that we ended up talking about on this drive, right, was the previous Digimon games, kind of Digimon lore. We were Jacob and I were breaking down like different Digimon world games that they're out there, right?
They were educating me basically because I've played 0 of them.
We were educating him, right? And so like we were talking specifically about Digimon World 4, which is like Jacob and I, we grew up on that game. We love that game. It's really fun, but you get weapons in that game. Like you're a Digimon, you run around a dungeon, you swing in a sword or an axe or a dagger or whatever it is. And so that's one thing from another game that I wouldn't mind including.
Oh, like an attachment, like something you can attach to your Digimon?
Like an attachment, right? So it's a tough call, right? Because I really like the way Digimon did plugins, right? It's like a, just an option card that has like a one-time use. I think it'd be kind of fun to have like a fun little weapon that could be a one-time use instead of, I guess you could do like a permanent artifact, enchantment, equipment like Magic does.
Yeah.
That's kind of what led me down this path, was thinking about how Magic, it's fun to equip weapons or whatever to characters. But what's great about this game is that Digimon's mechanics are good as is. Digimon's got great mechanics. I love the memory system. And we were actually going a little bit of brief history of where that memory gauge system came from. And Bandai had started the memory gauge system in a game called Chrono Clash. So before Digimon started, they had these little box sets. There was a Naruto one, a Godzilla one. I still have the Godzilla one because I'm a Godzilla fan. But basically, you had this like memory gauge system, and that's kind of where the resource system started, and it's evolved into where we're at now. And Digimon is just such a well-tuned game. There's a lot of fun mechanics. The whole draw and digivolve, kind of like all of it is just really good. So it's hard, and I don't know if I'd want to include too many other mechanics from other games. Like, obviously, there's not a need for mana, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to have counters like in One Piece or Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah.
Right? Like that wouldn't, I don't think, be a good fit. So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'm glad. Like when
Yeah.
I heard this question, there's a lot of stuff that came to mind that I'm glad is not in this game.
yeah, like
It's-
instants, right? You don't
yeah.
want to deal with instants.
No, or worry about all
And
that.
traps from Yu-Gi-Oh! We don't want that either.
Yeah, or counters that you have to put on everything, like on Flesh and Blood. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I do kind of like I would kind of like the mechanic, and just looking at some of the lore and stuff that you showed me and stuff. I think a planeswalker kind of thing might be cool.
Oh, I
Like-
didn't even think about that. Okay.
Like Yggdrasil not being an egg
But
would
being
be
like a
It seems like it
separate-
makes more sense. Like it's like even if it was like a 20 cost and it gave you a reason to like play a whole bunch of memory boosts
yeah.
and then get to 10 because
Ooh.
you know what I mean. So like a secondary thing that your opponent has to deal
Yeah.
with is not letting you get to 10 memory, because then you could actually play that. So it gives you like
Yeah.
another counter you would have to play against your opponent, and another style of deck you would play
yeah.
to try and boost yourself up to that memory. Play a bunch of memory tamers or play a bunch of memory boosts, whatever you can to get to that 10 mark, so you can actually lay that
So you
down.
give your opponent a full 20, and all of a sudden you have this like kind of game-changing
Yeah.
planeswalker equivalent
with like
on
kind
the
of a ticking time thing, like
Got it,
planeswalkers do.
got
You
it.
put like that. I would put counters on that. Like I think that would
Yeah.
be kind of a cool thing. So if they had something like that let
Mhm.
you do other, like with good interactions of other stuff,
That makes a lot
because
of
we keep
sense.
getting a lot of like good and fun things like raid and alliance and all these things. They keep giving us new mechanics, but they haven't given us a new type of card yet. in the entire-
It was really just Digitama, options, Tamers, Digimon.
Yeah, there's
Right,
really
like,
nothing.
that's it.
Yeah. So if they can introduce something like that, I think it would be
Yeah.
game changing, and it would change the game in a way that's not like super drastic, because people would have to make that choice to play that play style.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that would be kind of cool.
I do think you and I both appreciate this for sure. Alternative play styles to
Yeah.
any game, right? We like those different types of decks where it's plays different. And I like that's kind of one thing that I get from One Piece. I'm a little bit jealous is that set 3, even though it's just kind of coming out in Japan, has a mill deck where you mill yourself out and you win instead of you lose.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like so Digimon doesn't quite have like a mill deck yet, and maybe it's a good thing it doesn't have like a
Yeah.
mill where you mill yourself out,
Yeah.
or even a deck that mills your opponent out to make you win, right?
Yeah, they keep giving us a couple cards here and there. Like we'll
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
creepy mons
And
and,
it's-
the Megidramons and stuff like that.
And maybe it's for the better that we
Yeah.
don't have it. Like I don't know if that would ruin the game, but I know you and I both like those alternative play
Yeah.
styles for sure.
My favorite thing is this game doesn't have a search your library mechanic, which
I really like that
so
too.
happy that
yeah.
doesn't
Because
exist.
playing Pokemon, having to like grab one card, put it back, shuffle the deck, do another search,
Yeah.
grab it. It's like that's
Don't want
no. The bottom of the deck makes so much sense.
Yeah, I
so.
like it. The bottom of the deck stays the bottom of the deck.
Yep,
I
yep,
like
yep.
that. So that's kind of the answer to that question in a roundabout way. So let's move on to the next one.
Great question, by the way.
Yeah, great question. Next one. Hey, I would like to hear from you guys in your opinion, what our opinion is on how Bandai has been responding to the community. Like, for example, when they ban cards, delay sets,
Yeah.
the RB1 response that they had, etc. So how do you think Bandai does?
Okay, so maybe I have an unpopular opinion about this. but
Okay.
I think Bandai caters more to the U.S. market than they do the overseas market, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's clear with seeing how long it took Dorugray and Cross 4 to get restricted over in Japan
Yeah.
compared to the U.S. And I also think that it took so long for Promo 9 Agumon to become legal overseas compared to we've had it since the beginning and it's always been legal.
Yeah.
And they've given us another version with that Tamer gift box, right? Or whatever it was that got that foil alt art. Great card, by the way.
That $30 card.
Of that Agumon, right? So I think that Bandai is doing a better job catering to the U.S. side. And I don't know if that were just a larger revenue for them or if they're really excited about, or if they're like really doubling down on trying to bring Digimon to the U.S. market, right? Like by the time this recording, the Digimon Next Order just came out for the Switch. And I know some people have already played that game or just whatever, right? So like they're really trying, I think, to get the U.S. market in. So I think that they're very tuned to, obviously they're big subscribers to our podcast. But I think they're very tuned into what the U.S. group is saying as a whole, right? The fact that we were able to cyberbully them into giving us RB1.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously cyberbullying is not okay, but when it comes to, corporations, cyberbully them all.
Yeah.
But the fact that we are getting that RB1 and they listen to us, and we were just talking about this in the car too. Again, we tried to go YouTube Live. My fault, guys. I should have looked 24 hours ahead or whatever. But like, they asked us in the Nat survey, what alternative formats would you like?
Oh my god, and those were crazy.
They
Some
were
of them
crazy.
off the wall.
And I'm sorry, guys. Some of the alternative formats that you guys have come up with, not you guys as are our fans, people in the Digimon community have come with are not good.
Yeah.
A lot of those I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'd ever do that alternative format, or I don't know. I mean, I guess that's one thing I don't understand, and maybe it would be a good time to have a conversation about that, why you need to have a 4-player Digimon game.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice doing a one-on-one, and I think it's best that way. I guess
Yeah.
I don't play Commander enough to understand that appeal as far as like 2v2 goes or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I like alternative formats like Singleton. That's a great alternative format for sure. But Digimon is still so young, so fresh. We're not at that point where we have a standard format and a legacy format and a Commander format. We're not there yet. So I think there's a lot of work to be done. But I do think Bandai is listening to us to answer that question. And I think for whatever reason we have more influence than overseas guys. So it's crazy to think about. But
I think,
what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that I think that the Western world is just a little bit more emotional with their dollars.
Yeah,
and we have a lot of options and places to go.
That's
and
true.
So I mean, I think Japan and Asia and over there, like it's very competitive. Like, have you ever played StarCraft? Like, it's very, very competitive over there. Like, it's just like, yeah, Black War Gray is the best deck. Everyone's gonna play it. You're gonna play it, and that's just the way it is for that format. And then the next one comes out, and that's what you play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And nobody complains about it. It is what it is. Over here, if something's too, people are very vocal, and they're just like, I'm gonna boycott this game. I'm not gonna play it anymore, and I'm gonna talk about it online for 10 years about how mad I am. Right?
Yeah.
So because people will try and just troll, and they'll try and shut the game down, or, I mean, God, we got, what was that like during when we had that lull between sets, like what, 2 or 3 weeks into that lull between sets,
Oh, yeah.
all the Digimon is dying and all that
it's-
crap
I
over
mean,
the internet, and you're just like, come on.
As content creators ourselves, that was like shameless clickbait stuff. Like,
absolutely.
Digimon wasn't dying.
It's not dying.
Digimon's a great game. It's better than One Piece. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the people that were leaving to go to One Piece either already had like an affinity towards that franchise, like they've already liked that franchise more, or they just like needed something new, which sometimes people need new card
Or they're
games,
just gonna play both.
Or they're gonna play both. Like, I know for like our scene, like, we don't really have people who've left Digimon for One Piece.
Yeah.
We've had people that were like, "Oh, I'm gonna go try something new real quick," and then then they came right back like after taking like a week or two off of Digimon.
Yeah, and some of them still show up
right,
and
right,
play. And
yeah,
stuff,
and some of them are still
not
playing
a bad
both.
game, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
people are. It's just, I don't know. It's a little bit different.
It was
I think.
clickbait.
Yeah.
I think it was clickbait and I think Bandai really did the right thing. I don't
Yeah.
think it would have been smart to release a bunch of sets during the holiday period with everything going on at the end of the year and stuff like that. It just was a better idea to let
because then sales would be low, and then people would say the same thing, right?
Yes.
But anyways, the RB thing was pretty cool. That was them kind of reacting to, I think, not necessarily people complaining and throwing big fits, but them hopefully recognizing that, I mean, I personally like rare cards being rare. I've been outspoken about that.
Yeah.
But I do like new players being able to get old cards too.
Yeah.
So, and I think that was kind of a big thing. Them realizing like the game's almost 2-3 years old. So there's a lot of cards, especially those are all staples. And unless they want to just remake those cards and name them something else, that people are going to need to play with those cards. So
I don't think Bandai should have listened to us on the RB1.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yes, we need to have a way to get the new Gamamon, the Jellymon, and then Goramon
the new
line.
cards for sure.
And we need a way to get the new cards, and like if there's a new artwork of those memory boosts, we need a way to get those too. But they don't like how many. I'm worried about sales for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, are you gonna buy half a case like you normally do of every set?
Not that one.
For RB, exactly. It's not even like an EX set where yes, there's new stuff and maybe some of it's supplemental, but it's literally all reprints. So I'm worried that the resources that they're going to put into this set would be better off put somewhere else. And
the packaging's going to be different from what they said.
Right?
I don't know I don't know what the distribution's going to look like.
Yeah, because it's like I don't feel the need to buy a bunch of boxes of this set. Like I mean,
It also just has no archetypes that were necessarily.
I guess I didn't understand that. Like,
Yeah.
what was the reasoning that people were so upset about us not getting RB1 when they're giving us a version, right? They were giving us like a little, what was it? Probably like a premium pack kind of equivalent, where it's like $40 and you get 6 packs or something, and
Yeah, I think
get an
something
alternative
like that,
card or whatever, and you would have gotten some cool stuff. But
Jellymon, Gamamon.
yeah, I guess I just
rabbits. Is the rabbit stuff in that one?
it's the Angora stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like that's what I don't understand. I don't understand the need. Like, like I wanted foiled, like I know foiled Jackraid or
Megadramon, yeah.
foiled Megadramon. Like, obviously I wanted all those cards, but I don't know if I want enough to have Bandai spend who knows how much money printing cases of this to ship off for people not to buy.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a huge draw to get it. I mean, there's those staples. Like, that's the thing that I don't think Bandai's understood is that the people that want those cards probably already have those cards.
Yeah, like if you're gonna play a deck and you're committed to playing a deck, you probably already have most of the pieces, unless they're just stupid expensive. Like, unless your deck just absolutely cannot run without Death X,
Yeah,
like,
unless
you probably own it,
unless
right?
they're, I don't know, unless they are gonna double down and do a rotation or something. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think, I mean, the fact that Bandai wasn't gonna do an RB set for us kind of gives us more strength that they're not gonna do a rotation.
Yeah.
Right, because they weren't gonna give you guys a way to get those old cards that you would need, or you know what I'm saying?
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the other part of the question is about banning cards. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that they've done
a
a pretty good job. Sometimes it's a little too late, I think. Like, they were a little late on the blue hybrid restriction, I think. That took a little while to get the Tommy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, some of the stuff, I think that they listen, but I think that they also need to revisit some of those decisions later on when future sets come out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily think that HPD would be a terrible thing to have as a 2 or a 4 of now. It would make green a little bit more viable. I know Grandis is already nasty, right? But Bloomlord already does that.
Yeah. There's definitely ways that they could come back and like refresh and kind of look at these cards and make a decision about to unrestrict them or whatever.
Yeah.
So no, I get it.
Because having wide boards with green now, I mean, we already have it. Because they're all still suspended, so it doesn't really matter that much. I don't know. But there's certain things. Like, obviously, MDF was a ridiculous card.
Yeah.
Like, the thing should be banned.
Well, what sucks about MDF is that it wasn't even, like, the Lilith Loop deck that it was featured in that got it banned.
No, it was
hybrids, which, I mean, it's like...
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like, the hybrid format, just for a lot of people. And if you weren't around or in the hybrid format, be thankful.
Yeah.
But just imagine being able to, like, do free Susanos.
Yeah.
Like, from a tamer. Go from a tamer to his level 7 with 3 checks for free. Like, it was just stupid strong.
And add stuff back to your deck, right?
Yeah,
So
like, at least the Lilith Loop deck was cool, right? Like, and there was all those fun ways to play. And it's not like you just lost the moment they got all those pieces.
So kind of tying that in with our Nats predictions.
Okay.
So what do you think the banned card, or if they restrict a card?
Well, they're not restricting anything till after this first round.
Well, obviously,
right. Whether or not, that's such a tough question, because I've had some people think it's going to be the 5 Metal Greymon.
Yeah, I think there's 3, right? So there's the Metal Grey X Antibody, there's the Hades Force, and there's Cool Boy. I think those are the top 3.
See,
right?
I've also heard people talk about the level 4, the Greymon X Antibody.
I don't think so.
Because you can Digivolve for 2 into your level 5s.
Oh, yeah, because
right? So you take these 4-cost level 5s that have a hefty price to pay, where ideally you would pass your turn, even if you have Yugi on board, it costs 3, to where it costs 2, and then you're able to just completely go brrr with your Cool Boys and Digivolve up like crazy. So, I mean, whether or not it's going to be the 4 or the 5, I don't think they're going to restrict Cool Boy. I think that's a tough call.
Because it goes in so many different decks.
Cool Boy does go in different decks, yes. But Boy, the thing with Cool Boy is that, yes, maybe they should have made it a 3-cost, but that's hindsight, right? But it does whiff.
Yeah.
Cool Boy is a searcher. It can whiff on some of the pieces that you need, and there's some people that just don't like Cool Boy because it whiffs on searches.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, once it's on board and you're Digivolving, you're gaining all that memory, and you're going +1, blah, blah, blah. Like, all of that is crazy, but I don't think the issue is whether or not you can Digivolve that much in one turn. I think the issue is more of, can your opponent even play the game?
Yeah.
Right? And that level 5, when paired with everything else on the deck, does so much work. Like, the fact that it already deletes your Digimon, it already reboots, it already unsuspends, it already does all these things, but now you have to trash security on your turn, right? So it's like, To me, that I think is going to be the card that gets restricted. Either the 5.
I think it's Hades Force.
I don't see now. That's the thing with Hades Force is that Hades Force is, yes, the Hades Force is a devastating card, but it's not nearly as devastating as the rest of the deck.
I don't think so. I
Like,
disagree.
I think
It deletes up to 13 costs of your Tamers. It only costs 5.
but it's really
It only costs
used
5.
yes, it only costs 5, but that means Hades Force also does require you to have a Greymon with whatever your play cost of that Greymon is,
It always
right?
happens.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like the whole way the whole deck is with that broken level 4 and the broken level 5 and the broken level 6. That of course they're able to have that body on board, but they have to get
There's
there
always been
to
such a.
then use Hades Force to delete your
I
board.
mean, we didn't even get to be able to delete a Tamer until BT5, and
No.
until then, they've always had a governor on this thing, right? It's always been like so. Zord defeat deletes 1. Chaos mode deletes 1. The Dark Knight deletes 1. And then like they still put the governor on the Black War Gray. Up to 6 costs. So you couldn't delete 2 4-cost Tamers because that devastates your opponent's board and what they're doing, right? So now you can delete 3 of those. Like it's too much. I think, and it would be one thing if it cost 8, right? Like any of the devastating mechanics options, right?
Yeah.
It costs 7, but you always have the X antibody option, so it only costs 5 to do that. I think that is absolutely insane.
Yeah, like they definitely probably made that card overpowered.
We forgot the first part. And your Greymon can swing.
Yeah.
So it blitzes.
Yeah, so it blitzes.
And then it reboots and trashes security.
That's what I'm saying. But like, what's more scary? Like, yes, the 2, 3 of Hades Force, that is an option that does require some setup on board. And when it hits in security, it's an Iron Fisted Onslaught. It's just like which is still bad, but it's still a normal option that every other deck has some sort of version of at this point.
Not for 5.
No, yes, but I'm talking about security.
Oh, okay.
But like that's what I'm saying though. It still requires a Greymon to be set up on board. So if they only have the level 5, if they whiffed on their 6s, right, they can only delete up to 8 costs, right? 8 costs is still a lot. Yes, I know it can still delete boards, it can still delete Tamers, but I think the 5 is more scary than it is anything else. The fact is, same reason Doru Gray got restricted, because of the fact that it gave so much protection to that deck. That 5 is doing the same thing.
Okay, I'm gonna come back at you here.
Okay.
The Hades Force also destroys an entire format called Crossheart.
Yes.
So it shuts that entire thing down.
I agree, but I'm telling you, man, like the Hades Force is not as common as the rest of the deck doing what the rest of the deck does.
Okay.
Right? Like, yes, Hades Force is a powerful option. That's not the argument here. We all agree. But out of the card, if they're only going to restrict one card out of this set, it's not going to be the Hades Force.
Okay.
Because the rest of the deck is still playable. The rest of the deck still does the exact same terrifying, menacing, frustrating, annoying thing that everybody else is sick and tired of by this point. It's just you lost one of their options. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, we'll agree to disagree on this one. Okay. I'll bet you $5 it's a Hades Force.
All right, $5. You guys are here first. I can't wait for Jesse to give me $5.
Chime in the comments and let us know how wrong you think Jeff is. All right. We got one more question. That was a long one. The next question is, and this is kind of a fun one. This is a good decompression from the last question. Okay. The question I want to ask is, as a new player, what 1 or 2 pieces of advice would you give? Lots of new players start here. Content is available. And I know a lot has changed and a lot hasn't. So as a new player jumping into it, it sounds like he's trying to get into some of these YouTube videos that are like, hey, you're a new player, come check this out. I know personally we have some, I have a couple buddies that are trying to get into the game. And I guess I'll field this question first. Some of the advice I gave them is always start with the app, because that teaches you the very basic.
The tutorial app.
The tutorial app, the one from Bandai. That's how I started.
Yeah,
A little outdated, but and the fact that it doesn't have 80% of the mechanics in the game now, but it does teach you how the memory system works. It teaches you how the digivolving system works. And I think that by the end of that tutorial, if you like the game or not. If it doesn't pique your interest, then I think that it's probably not the game for you. I don't think you're going to talk anyone into liking the game after that. Yeah. But it does introduce you to the resource system with the memory gauge, which I think is the one that really drew me in. Was the fact that I don't have cards as a resource. I like that a lot. Yeah. So that's kind of what I tell people, because I know a lot of people that jump in. I'm pretty sure almost everybody from our locals has either played Magic or know how it works and stuff like that. So, or Pokemon or anything that requires that card-based resource system. Yeah. And I think that a lot of people like that, because you don't have to it's one thing you don't have to manage in your deck. Like, you just play Digimon. Like you just play with the cards and the options, and you play with the monsters. You don't have to deal with what ratios of resources you have to put in your deck, right? Because it's not that kind of deck. You don't have to mix your colors or deal with that kind of thing. So what I would recommend people do is start with the tutorial, and then always have a buddy. Always know an expert. Always know someone that has the cards or the resources that they can bounce options or ideas off of, or join a community. Discord is fantastic. I know if you join Wayward City Games Discord, there's people like us and Joe and a lot of great community people that will help you.
Absolutely.
If you have any questions, but I know, shameless plug, another fun video, it's scripted, but it's another good YouTube channel, is Card Protagonist. They do a lot of good gameplay videos that show you how a deck works. I mean, watch our videos if you want real gameplay videos, people bricking and just playing the game.
Making mistakes.
Yeah, but if you want to see like how a deck, like everything in a deck is supposed to run, not necessarily the best list, but how a deck, the mechanics of a certain archetype deck works, those are always good. And they're always a couple formats ahead, which is nice because they use the Japanese cards. So yeah, I would do that. And I would tell them, I would ask them what kind of deck they like. Because typically they're probably going to have a TCG background and deck styles, whether it's control, mill, aggro, like they're going to know what that archetype means. And there's a format for everything in Digimon, with the exception of a couple like mill and stuff like that. But there's aggro decks, there's control decks, there's anything you want. So that's kind of what I would do. Is I would just make sure, and I would give them my phone number and be like, dude, you want to play? Come call me. Find a close locals too. That's a big one. Locals. What about you?
Okay, so for new players, I agree with a lot of things you were saying, for sure. I don't think there's any disagreement on my end, but I just want to add a couple things. DigimonCard.dev, amazing website. I couldn't imagine this card game where it would be without it. So, I mean, the guy who made this website, it's a free website for everybody. I know he's got like a little PayPal link with this adorable dog on the picture there that shows, but they showed translated images and pictures and card text of upcoming sets that have been revealed, and it's updated super quick like that. And you play around with the deck build, you can kind of get a good layout feeling. There are decks on there, but I never use the save decks on there, but there are save decks on there. DigimonCardMeta.com is great to see like winning future deck lists and future formats and stuff like that. But for new players, the biggest thing is if you're new to TCGs, and let's say you just love Digimon and you're like, I really want to play this game. What I would recommend you do is you just have to pick a Digimon. Like you just pick your favorite. Start there, and if the deck sucks, oh well, you got practice deck building. You got practice learning the game, right? But you just have to start somewhere. So there's no other place to start besides your favorite, right? Bring it to locals, pick people's brains, play games, lose a whole bunch of games.
Yeah, you're gonna
learn more from losing than you did winning.
Yes,
especially if you won with a top deck, because that doesn't reward you for bad deck building. But you got to lose a bunch of games to learn. Okay, there's this interaction sequence. I need to do this. But as new players, I feel bad for you guys because, in my opinion, this is not a great format to start.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, any time is better than no time to
Unless
start.
Unless you're just playing with a buddy at your house.
Yeah. Like if you're playing with a buddy and you guys don't have access to Black or Gray, sure, totally. Or Melga X, right? Like totally. Just get into it for sure. But I think you're in a good game. It's a relatively cheap game to play. Yes, Black or Gray is really strong and devastating in this format, but that will go away and things will change and stuff like that. So definitely welcome if you're a new player, and keep getting on YouTube, find good deck profiles, find content creators that you like to follow, get on the Facebook group, follow whoever you like on whatever social media to see their deck building tips, and just keep asking questions about deck building. And I think the biggest thing for me as a new player is to kind of learn my ratios of what numbers I like as 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s in a normal type deck, where I would feel comfortable playing any new deck as long as I stuck to my golden rules. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'd recommend.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you for the great questions. If any of those were your questions, check your email. I'm going to be sending out to get your information to send you some goodies. So that's going to be our giveaway for last week. So let's talk about this week.
Yeah.
Because it's a great week. We hit 1,000 subs. So I want to do something special. And I got a cool giveaway idea for you guys. So I happen to have a bunch of these extra Machine Dramon alt arts that I'm kicking around here. So since we hit 1,000, I'm going to give away my favorite Digimon. So I'm going to give away a Machine Dramon Altart. One of our lucky viewers. A couple stipulations though. Since we hit 1,000 subs, we realized that we have fans that tons of them that we have not even met. So we want to get to know you guys. We want to know what you guys like. So if you could, jump in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe here and on Facebook. But jump in the comments of this video, and we want to know what video brought you to this channel, or what video do you like the most? Like, what's the one that made you hit that subscribe button? And we want you to post the link to that video in your comment, because we want everyone to see we want to see what everyone, like, what were the big draws? Like, we can obviously see how many views videos got. But a lot of views, people just click on it and I want to see a Black War Gray. But it doesn't mean that they might just skip to the end of the video, see the deck list, and then leave. But we want to know, like, why you guys are joining us on this podcast. Like, what kind of content do you guys want? And if we get a whole bunch of repeats, then obviously we'll update those videos, and we'll make sure we get the content out to you guys that you enjoy the most. So it's kind of a good survey, and it's got a good little prize on the end of it. So on the next podcast, we'll pick a random winner from the comments, and you'll get my favorite Digimon.
Yeah, I want to see what videos have left like lasting impressions.
Yeah,
on people, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, we can see the analytics, we can see the stats of how many views it got, you know, and like we even have a little feature to see how many subscribers a video got, but that still doesn't necessarily tell us why.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It could just be luck, whether they saw enough posts in the Facebook group from me sharing these videos, or what may But like, I want to know what left a lasting impression to where you want to keep coming back to us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, guys, thought it should be fun. And now we're gonna get into our cards of the week. I think was it my turn to go first?
Your turn to go first.
So mine is gonna be It's a shameful thing, because I've spent, I don't know, countless weeks before this BT11 came out saying how much I don't like this card, and then I tested it and I really like this card. I'm going Analog Man. So I don't know. I did not realize. So a big part of that is the fact that I did not realize that Metal Tyranno was an all turns effect on the inheritable. So the fact that you can redirect your opponent's attacks into your Machine Dramon with the Analog Man and trash their security is just, it's amazing. It's really good. The memory gain is really good on it too. I don't recommend you use it as your sole source of memory gain, because I don't think it's that consistent. Because I mean, you get one, but you have to have the right piece in your hand to pitch that you want to pitch to get it. So it's nice to get that one extra memory when you just need to get to the 12 to play the machine. Yeah. So it's really good for that. But that redirect is terrifying, because it just turns your blocker into a multiple blocker. And it gets exponentially better when we get that Chaos Dramon X antibody. So
yeah, I mean, the fact that you have blocker as the inheritable from Machine Dramon, and then that Tamer almost gives you like a double blocker.
Yeah,
like obviously that's not what it does, but it can redirect the attack, right? And so it also adds to the mind game your opponent has to play, because they're gonna like, which attack is he gonna redirect?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a very good Tamer. And like, I totally understand your reasoning of why going into this format and seeing it in theory, why you didn't like it at first. Because, a lot of people approached you, be like, oh, I'm going to play this as a 5-of if I can.
Yeah.
And like, I think this is the best card in the entire deck. Or like, this is obviously going to completely change Machine Dramon and put it into relevance, when you've already been proven that the deck is really good, and you've, already shown a lot of the strength of the deck. Like, yes, this did add another level to it, but it's not like it completely changed it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think a big part of that is I thought that it paired pretty much only with the new Machine Dramon, which I still don't play yet.
Yeah, of course, you're going to play the original.
I'm going to play the original one, because
Excuse me, not the original. Not BT2.
No.
Not BT2 Machine Dramon.
Yeah, the EX1. But the new one, I'm not sold on yet. I mean, it is really good for Attack the Heavy Mobile, but it's that more digivolving version, Yeah. And you kind of want it to die so you can play the good one for free, but it's like, why not just play the good one? So it's good. It's a great card. I love the Analog Man, and I think that it's going to be in the deck permanently for sure. And funny enough, I took out the Analog Youths, put in the Analog Man.
I know why you did it, because I think you've really answered a lot of questions with that deck, as far as searching, draw power, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so. And like I said, that Metal Tyranno, just being able to trash. I know I caught you off guard a couple times with that. You're like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
So what do you got?
So I'm gonna copy you with almost like a very similar tamer. I'm very excited about Cross this format.
Oh, I know where you're going.
I was a big fan of Cross in BT10, not just
Yep.
because it won me games, but because I really liked that aggressive playstyle, and it was fun. I love playing bodies by effects. That's like my entire playstyle. So shout out to my opponent. Hopefully you're watching this. Who played Palmumon against me at Mox and stopped my entire deck for the entire round, because that is my weakness with every deck I build. But I like the new triple tamer, our first ever triple tamer.
Yeah.
It is Taiki, Kahira, and Nene. Can't remember the exact order. I'm sure someone will correct me, or the pictures down below.
Our first
But the
triple
white,
tamer.
it's a white 4-cost tamer, and I really like it. I really like it in the Cross deck. I mean, Cross's biggest weakness was needing 1 memory to do 1 more swing. With yes, Cross 5 can be free if you have all 5 pieces. Cross 4 usually costs 1. Cross 3 usually costs 1. And so all the other cross pieces generally cost a memory, right?
Yeah.
Even Cross 7, if you have all the pieces, still costs you 2. So what I really like about this tamer is that it adds to that deck. I said it in our Cross 3 video that we just came out. It came out today as we're recording this, so Wednesday of this week. But it can potentially net you 5 memory, right? If you tuck a card that's a Digicross requirement underneath, you draw 1 Digicross requirement in hand, and then you gain 1 memory off that card. That's 5 memory for Digicross, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not gain 5 memory, but it's
I get
what
you're saying.
It can work like a 5 memory. So,
Yeah.
and I'm very excited because I've been tinkering with Cross 7, and I'm tinkering. I think I might do a 4 of that because it's just so good for the draw power, and you do need to have an answer when Black War Gray or Hades Force does delete that tamer. Yes, but I'm a big fan of that tamer. It's really fun.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for this week, folks. Hope you enjoyed. We are gonna get back to the drawing board. We have a ton of deck profiles that we have built. Jeff, what do we got coming up? We just posted Machine. I have Ulforce. You have Suka. You have Bagra Turbo. We have a bunch of cool stuff coming up for you guys. Make sure you stay tuned to the channel for some more great giveaways, and make sure you participate in the one we just talked about, because I can't wait to see. I'm really excited to see. The participation just keeps growing on these giveaways.
Absolutely,
So it's a lot of fun to interact with you guys, and feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.